we're all adult choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
You choose, you know? Sometimes we got a couple of, you know, some people just dealt with 2 choices.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people dealt with a couple of choices. You got to be able to freaking pick.
Yeah.
You know, if you choose to go steal cars, hang out with the wrong people, that was your choice.
Yeah.
Now you got to deal with it.
Consequences.
You know? Yeah, the consequences of your choices. Some people don't understand that.
Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show.
What's going on, Eagles? Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show. Today, I'm here with my cousin and co-founder, Joey, and someone who's taught me a lot, three-time Iraqi war veteran, black belt, owner, head instructor at Semper Fi MMA, and a coach to some of the world's renowned black belts, Staff Sergeant Julio Rosario. Julio, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
So we were basically deep into the show already. We had to reel it back. Like, I feel like the stories we're going to get into here are just going to be one for the record books. So, Julio, could you get us started and just tell us a little bit about the upbringing and how you maybe became Staff Sergeant Julio Rosario?
All right, so I'm originally from Jersey. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. If anybody knows Jersey, Newark is the largest city in New Jersey, and it's probably the roughest. Right? Grew up in the projects, just like anybody that's ever grew up in the hood. Probably didn't even have that father. I grew up with a single mom. She was a bartender, so pretty much mornings were left to us.
Yeah.
We had to get ready because my mom was just...
You have siblings?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a brother, sister from same mother. Being Puerto Rican, my dad had 10 kids.
Right.
So... But we were tight with the other siblings as well.
Gotcha.
Again, growing up in the projects, it was rough. Seeing things that most... growing up as a kid, you shouldn't see, and dealing with. But it just became a normal type of lifestyle. I really wouldn't change much, honestly. I think it really shaped me to the person I am today. Shaped my brother, shaped a lot of people in my family, We're grateful for it. Or should I say, we took it as a hell of a lesson, We've learned from it, and then we just try to change that for other people, not to follow. It doesn't have to be that way, you know. Always had this dream of being a Marine. So my uncle was a Marine, and my mom used to display his picture at our house, and I said, oh, "Who's that?" She's, "Oh, that's your uncle. He's a Marine." I was like, man, the uniform.
Even as a kid, this is what you're.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that thing. I'm like, I want to be him. Yeah. Never knew what the hell the Marine was. I've always watched movies, but, being young, I couldn't really tell the difference. If he was a Marine, he was a soldier, Air Force, or what. I was like, I just want to be a Marine. Didn't know much. And
did any of your other siblings feel that way too? Or was that
just
your thing?
I think I was the more that gun-ho, hardcore. In my family, I'm like I'm the favorite uncle, right?
Yeah.
Or the best uncle, should I say?
You're the fun uncle.
I was never that. I was that kid you had to keep an eye on. You could not blink.
Yeah,
I was doing something crazy, I'd broken bones, stitches all over my body. I mean, it was always something for my mom. Like, God damn it, I just got home. I want to go to sleep. I got to take this kid to the hospital, get some stitches, things like that. But that's how my family saw it. Like, man, this kid is all over the place. He's crazy in a good way. Yeah. And next thing you know, I'm, was just following the wrong crowd, man. I got arrested for stealing cars. That was a big thing in Jersey back in the day.
How old were you at this point?
14.
Yeah.
A couple of times, And
Maximus?
Huh?
Maximus?
What do you mean?
Nissan Maximus back in the day. Everybody was tagging those.
I was more luxury. BMWs, Lexuses, that stuff.
Okay, I got
fire taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was gonna do it, I was gonna go all out. So and it was a better getaway car. So
you know what's crazy? I would say to Amanda, like the level of effort and hard work it takes to steal a car, you might as well just do anything else. Like the risk to reward is just not there.
But the thing, it's the length of time to the reward is the other thing. You know what I mean? Because you boost the car, the reward, the time to reward is very short. You know what I mean? Whereas if you use that same knowledge and willpower to do something like something else, that's going to be
There was a video
longer.
I saw of a friend. They stole the car right out of their driveway. They literally, like, middle of the night, these three guys roll up, do what they do, like hot wire the car or whatever, and literally wheel it out of the in neutral out of the driveway. I'm like, this is a shit ton of work. Like between and all the stress that's involved with doing it, I'm like, they might as well just go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, there's a high out of it, you know, and I think that's what the adrenaline, kind of a little rush for it. And there was some bad moments. I've lost some friends doing it, you know, being killed for taking for trying to steal a car and stuff like that. And you start to think like, all right, is this shit worth it?
Yeah.
You know, but then there's that peer pressure, you know, being pushed to, to do something, not having a dad, you know, or just someone in your life to say, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You know, don't do this. It's not worth it, stuff like that, which is where later on, how my mindset started to change.
So when you got arrested the first time for stealing cars, did you say, "Hey, that's it? Like I'm done with this now," or was it you went right back to it after?
Nah, I was just upset. I was more upset like how I got caught.
How you got caught? Yeah.
Like, damn, I could have been better. I should have jumped this route. I should have did this. I should have went instead of left. I should have went right.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think I was still immature about it. Just didn't really understood the consequences, you know? And then it was 2 times, you know? After the second time, my mom was like, you know what? You're going with your brother to Philly, you know? Because my brother moved here to Philly with his wife because her family was from here.
Okay.
And, you know, Jersey, Philly, it was just like, I was like, man, fuck.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but F the Phillies, F the Eagles, F this. I didn't even like none of that. So I was like, you know what, whatever. And
well, plus it was like a punishment for you. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't vacation. You know what I mean?
So I come here and
What part of Philadelphia was it?
we were at like Feltonville section.
Yeah.
You know, eventually then I was living in Hunting Park.
Okay.
Yep.
So HP, for all those who know out there.
So
But
it's Hunting Park in Kensington Ave is where my
yeah.
grandparents
So
were.
I went to Albany High School, right? I was all right. I had straight Fs from the high school I came, right? I was barely going to school,
straight,
nothing.
You said straight.
Fs.
I was expecting A's at the end of that.
My brother had to literally explain, like, why should we take him? He's straight ass. This guy, seems like been suspended so many times for fighting this, that, all that. Yeah. And somehow this vice principal was like, we'll take him in. Now, I got sent over there like in February, March time frame. I was going to flunk regardless. There was no way I was going to come back from straight Fs, the last 3 marking periods. So I flunked that year, and I went back to Jersey. So I'm thinking, I'm cool. Here's the summer. All right. My mom, in the summer, she's like, you're going back. I was like, what? I thought it was just for temporarily. So I'm pissed. I have to, now I got to start a whole new school year. I don't know anybody. And again, I'm starting at Albany High School. And I go and I'm just like, guess I just got to deal with this, man. So first day of school, if my brother watches this, he's going to crack up. After he explained that, went through tooth and nail to try to get me into the school, and Albany wasn't even the best school, and I freaking leave the school first day. I freaking left right out the door. So there's a coach who was my gym teacher, and then the vice principal. They see me walk right out, and they're like, yo, isn't that new kid? And sure enough, man, here I go, calling my brother. And my brother was like, you know what? If anything happens, call me. This is my direct line. And I used to always wonder how they were ahead of me. not knowing it was, but this is where my brother decided, where he was my father figure. He would not let off on anything. I had to work. So at the time I was 17 years old. I was working in nightclubs. My brother was like, "You're going to work with me. I'm bar backing in nightclubs." Now we would get out of these clubs by the time we cleaned up, you're talking about getting home at almost 4 a.m. Now you would think it's a freaking Thursday night. Maybe you let me sleep in. Hells no. My brother was like, "Wake your ass up." Now in Jersey, school started at like 8:50. Here it was like 7:30.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I just went to bed. I'm at school like, and you know what the crazy part was? I made honor roll that year.
Really?
Literally that whole year I made honor roll.
What was it? The
What
structure,
was the
you
switch?
think?
Yeah, like how did you go from straight Fs to?
I think, so I have like ADD, right? The whole attention deficit disorder. And I just think it was just like rolling the dice. And I just had, all the teachers were great. I actually understood what they were teaching. Versus where I went to a school. Have you ever seen that movie, Lean On Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was East
I
Side.
Lean On Me tattoo
All right.
on mine.
Well, I went to 2 high schools. I went to Barringer, and then it was West Side High School. So we had East Side, West Side.
Yeah.
Well, I dealt with that, where they changed the doors. You could only come in through one door because that's what they did to keep the drug dealers out. So what that movie portrays is 100% true. And but no teachers cared. They just went there, got a paycheck. If you showed up, you showed up. Some of them will mark me present, and I wasn't even there. They were just like, just going down the list, whatever.
They were kind of enabling the bad behavior, like not even thinking, not even realizing.
So I have these teachers, and like I said, Colony wasn't the best school, but let me tell you, it was the best high school I went to. High school in Jersey, there were shootouts in that school. And it's crazy because you see it like happen around the country, and I'm like, why didn't they talk it back in the day when it was already happening? But I think the media just took the opportunity to kind of make it a political thing. It didn't matter back then, but.
So it sounds like you had the teachers that you had, like you said, that you understood what they were teaching, but I can only imagine like you understood what they were teaching because they cared.
Yeah.
Like they cared.
I try, best way I explain it. We all watch the cartoon Snoopy, right?
Yeah.
You know the teacher, how she talks?
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
That's how it is for me when I was in school. If that's just how I was just interpreting it when they would teach. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And then that's it. All right, can I go to the bathroom? And I'm just running in the halls because I just couldn't take it. And but that year, man, every teacher, English, math, science, I was like, I love school now. I'm going to school.
What's your brother say? Going from straight F's to honor roll. What's he say?
Now he's like, now I'm not gonna let off. He's like, now
he's like, it worked.
Now, basically like, look what you can do.
Yeah. This is
look
your
what
potential.
You can do.
Yeah.
So anytime I did kind of slacked, it was like,
yeah,
hey, you better get it together. I already seen you can make honor rolls. And and then my mom was like, cool. Now you're staying over there.
Now you're never coming back.
I was like, all right, now I got to stay in Philly. So
as you got those better teachers and had a better experience, did your attitude start to shift as well? Like, were you less interested in bullshit, or was it?
No.
You were still fucking around.
Like I was getting my education, right? I was falling in line with that, and I was in my depression because I was missing home, my friends and stuff, like at least who I thought were my friends. And then I got some friends here, and and kind of led back to the same thing.
Still doing some bad stuff.
Started stealing cars here in Philly. Got caught. I got caught here 3 times. And
the difference is now you're on the honor roll when you're doing it.
You
got caught by the cops?
Yeah.
Like arrested in cuffs and taken.
Oh yeah, I was at CFCF. In total, I was locked up for about 14 months.
What?
Yeah. So,
what's crazy is the people that take on this fatherly figure and people that would literally beat someone's ass that they cared about for doing these things. Like,
don't know that part. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like when I got my jiu-jitsu started with Julio, and like I'm like sitting there, I was telling you before, like we have a story time after class. Like we just hear about like some of like the things you've gone through. Like I'm like, damn, like Julio, like it would like fuck me up if I was like the guy out of line.
Well,
you know what I mean?
This is where like when I'm hard on Sean or whoever it is, and I'm telling you from my experience.
Yeah, you're speaking from experience.
I'm telling you that you're gonna waste your time. I'm telling you what you're doing is wrong. You know, I already did it. I already did the hard work for you.
Yeah.
There's an easier road. Just listen to what I'm telling you to do. And when I was sitting in jail for that, you know, for the 14 months, and that's when I was thinking about the Marine Corps stuff. Because I'm a senior in high school. I was going to be the first person to graduate high school in my family.
Whoa.
And everybody's rooting for me. And
That's amazing.
I effed it up. I effed it up with one stupid decision. I'm like, and I'm in that cell and I'm thinking like, damn, man, I was going to join the Marine Corps. I was going to do this. It was going to change my life.
Just to confirm, you were about to graduate and then you got locked up for 14 months or it was a total of all the times you've been locked up was 14 months?
No. So the other times were like, I was there for like a day or two. Then it was like 2 weeks. And then the third time,
That's
because I had still 2 open cases, you know, I had to go through court. And then I didn't get a bail till about halfway through, which was $310. Now, my brother, being the hardcore guy he is, and like I said, I'm not even mad. I understand why he did it now, but I hated him for it back then. He was like, nope, we're not paying for it.
Yeah,
it's not that we didn't have $310. We could have got that.
Yeah,
He was like, nope, you made this decision. You're going to deal with this shit.
So you missed graduation because you were in there?
Oh, they kicked me out.
Oh, they kicked you out.
Wow.
I took a stolen car to school. So they expelled me from that. And I was like, damn, everything was going well. I was doing this, that.
Yeah.
It was only a few months till graduation.
Yeah.
So I was well on my way. And, yeah, my brother was like, nope, you're staying in there. I'm like, you know, that's like $310.
Was there any part of you that thought that he was going to do that? Or did you think he was going to bail you out? You remember?
It was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I was like, really, man? But he definitely wanted me to learn my lesson.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, I'm not going to help you.
I was literally just about like if that was Parker and I was at my wit's end with him, right? Like my son, and we had just like literally don't know what else to do. I'm like, that actually seems like a fair
but you got
fair thing to do to leave him.
It's a way to send a message, but you got to think about like what could go on in there while he's there.
True.
You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't bail you out and you got to spend another 8 months there, like who knows what could happen in there, and then he's got to live with that.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't think about that now, but you know, and but once I was going to court and I was beating the cases, right? They couldn't find enough evidence. So I was like, all right, cool, I got 2 more to go. Then I'm down to 1 more, and it was like, all right, this ain't looking so good. Just plead guilty to this. It's like misdemeanor stuff, and that's it. You'll be on probation for a year. I was like, you sure? I was like,
no.
And I said, okay, well, misdemeanor.
Who's this, defender?
Yes.
Public defender?
And I'm like, wait, I could probably still be Marine. And I remember when the public defender came to see me and talk about the case, he was like, let's do this. This is probably your best bet. I was like, all right, let's do it. I remember just going to sleep, and I was having a dream that this was going to work out the way I what do they call that when people, how should I say, just envision things.
Visualization?
Was it?
Visualization?
Oh, there's another
Out of
word.
body experience?
Manifest?
Yeah, manifesting.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like more of a manifest. All right, I'm gonna beat this case. I'm gonna take this deal. I'm gonna be good for that year, right? Because of the probation. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm just gonna have to go at nighttime, right? Sure. I'm gonna graduate, and then I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but
this is how it's gonna. This is what's gonna happen.
And sure enough, man, I'm out. I'm on with the probation thing. I get a job. I'm working at a warehouse. Now I go back to Jersey. Warehouse I'm working at, you can literally see the World Trade Center from across, right, the river. And I'm in high school, about to graduate, right? Actually, I just graduated, right? Got my diploma, still first one in my family,
Yeah.
right? Everything's going on well.
Did you go back at night? Or
Yes.
did you? Okay, I got
So,
you. So you're working during the day at the warehouse?
Working a full-time job.
Yep.
So, and this is where I tell people, man, stay in school. You got it so much easier,
Yep.
right?
And how old are you? Like 19? 18, 19?
Yeah, I was like 19. So I'm working a full-time job, right? 7 to 4, 7 to 4, right?
Yep.
As soon as I got home, shower, change. I didn't have a car, so I had to take 2 buses. So it took
To
me
get
2
there.
hours just to get there.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
By the time I was done, so high school was from 6 till 9, all right? When they let out the one bus, you would see it leave. The next one wouldn't come till almost 10 o'clock. Remember, it's 2
Same.
hours to get home. I was getting home at 12 o'clock at night.
Dude.
And then getting up and doing the same thing.
You know, and I did that for a year. I was like, this sucks, man. The winter, I was freezing my ass off.
Now, were you back in Newark?
Yes.
And you're staying with your mom?
Yep.
So now you're back. Where are the friends at from when you were 14, 15?
I cut a lot of them off.
You cut them off.
You know, in order to stay there, I just couldn't. I mean, I was still friends with some, but
Do you think that vision that you had for what was about to happen next gave you the courage to basically say like,
just
okay,
to,
I need to
just
step.
not to chill.
Yeah, you flipped
just
this
not-
in jail. You flipped the switch. You're like, I'm done with this, right? It
Well, I
sounds
was
like.
really believing that vision.
Yeah.
You know,
Of
I was
being-
like, all right, yeah, I wasn't doing that with the car stuff. I was like, I'm working, I'm making
Yep.
honest living, stuff like that.
And you wanted to be a Marine, like you're
Yeah.
like, so
So now,
you didn't have time for any to fuck around anymore.
so now I'm like, I know I can make this happen. So, you know, I saved money, got a little lawyer, got some things expunged that I needed to, just in case, because
Because they wouldn't have accepted.
so the Marine Corps, and it's still the same way, they will not take you.
Even with misdemeanors?
Depending,
Right?
right?
Case by case, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So I got all that stuff expunged. I didn't want them finding anything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let me start seeing this recruiter. So you know, start going through the process, and I'm like, you know, hey, have you ever been arrested? I'm like, nope. You know, and obviously they say, you know, you shouldn't lie. There's things that they can put you in jail for so many years. They can fine you up to 200-some grand. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna lie my ass off, man. I got to make this dream happen. If that's what it takes, I just want to serve my country. You know.
Right. Yep.
And things were getting a little difficult, right? And 9/11 happens.
Now, are you still working at the warehouse when
Yes,
9/11 happens?
we see the tower, we see it on fire, and I'm just like, holy shit, what the hell is going on? Second tower gets hit. We're like, whoa. So now all the workers are like, and I just remember the boss is like, listen, I'm not gonna tell you guys can go home, but I ain't gonna tell y'all can stay either. We all clocked out because we thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
went home, man. I remember just watching live, and I'm seeing this guy fall onto his death, and I'm like,
Yep.
and when I saw that and everything started to click, I said, this is my ticket in. Watch. I said, this is my ticket into the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And sure enough, something did come up, and it was one time I got arrested for trespassing. I jumped in someone's pool with a bike.
Okay.
So I was like, out of all things, I was okay with that.
Yeah, take that
you
one.
know?
Yeah.
So they were still, even at that time when you knew that was your ticket in, they had a standard and they were gonna.
Yeah, the Marine
Yeah.
Corps has one of the high, and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't sugar cookie anything.
Yep.
You have to be, you know, it was one of those things like anybody could just join the service. But Marine Corps wanted that selected few, which is where you get that, you know.
A few, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
but did anyone remind you along the journey, like, yo, you're not going to be able to be a Marine if you don't straighten
Yes,
up?
my best friend.
You just didn't.
My best friend was like, dude, you're not gonna, he was a Marine.
Yeah.
And he became a Marine because of me, because I was telling like, dude, join the Marine Corps. Like,
Yeah.
dude, he was gonna do Army. And he's actually my instructor.
Okay.
He used to tell it to me. And I wasn't offended, it just drove me more. Like, no, I'm gonna prove you wrong, man. I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
I just felt, and I wouldn't say 9/11, I just felt like 9/11 just made it easier,
Well, they
you know?
needed people, yeah.
you know? So I was all about it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, I'm in boot camp, man, and suffering. I was like, damn, you know, I thought it was tough. I was like, shit,
Yeah.
this is 13
So
weeks of,
how much time was there between 9/11 and when you went into boot camp?
maybe about a year.
Okay.
You know, while I was in boot camp,
So
the war just kicked off.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Now
We just went to Iraq, and yeah, man, I'm like, my family was happy. It was like, wow, big changes. You know, you went from not going to school, not gonna get an education, being locked up, probably was gonna end up being dead because that was happening to a bunch of my friends, and yeah, just changed that. My mom was happy, and the craziest part, when I left to boot camp, I left on Mother's Day. I was like, God, all freaking days. Now I was gonna leave at the end of the summer, and that recruiter called me back. Was just like, hey man, I got an earlier ship date. You want to do it? I was like, yeah. When is it? He was like, May 11th. I was like, all right, put me in. He didn't tell me May 11th was Mother's Day. You know, so that was hard on my mom. But to this day, she's just, you know, she just loves our journey. You know,
I gotta imagine it was like mixed emotions because she's so proud of you from, you know, the 13, 14-year-old version to where you are now. But at the same time, you're going to war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, it was tough. I mean, she it actually changed her too. My mom was having an alcoholic, into drugs, and I remember her telling, because her best friend, her son joined. I mean, him became best friends in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And she was like, listen.
Did you go to boot camp together?
No. I was about 8 months ahead of him.
Okay.
And he's actually still there. He'll be retiring in the next 2 years.
Okay.
So she was telling me, she was like, you know what, ever since you've been to Iraq, she was like, you know your mom doesn't drink no more? She said, she was like, I'm not going to drink till my son gets back. I've been back, but she's so used to not drinking. She's like, well, I'm going to just keep living this life. So, and my mom, we have a party or something, she'll drink and stuff, but it's not where she's just home cracking stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And
did you ever talk about that with her? Like that? Did she ever come to you and say, "Hey, like I made this promise to myself when you left"?
No.
As like
I just think
unspoken.
she just did it more like for her, but didn't know that we knew about it.
Sure.
You know, and I was proud of her for that. I was so happy because I'm like, you know, she was different. You know, and I was like, all right, I could parade this mom around. Like I'm happy to show you this is my mom, not maybe an older version of her. You know, and my mom was tough as hell. Tough. And my mom actually was, she went to jail. So my mom used to be a drug dealer, right? She was big time back in her day, and she got caught. She got caught with a couple of kilos of cocaine, and you know, it was one of those things where it was like, we'll give you a choice. You either do 5 years, or you get in life. She was like, oh, hell no, give me 5, you know? And I didn't have
Did that
my mom
happen
for 5
while
years.
you were...
So not only that I didn't have a father, but I lost my mom for 5 years, you know? And I was bouncing around from my aunt living in Brooklyn. And then Child Services wanted to take us away, me and my sister and stuff like that. And we had to go to Puerto Rico for a little bit.
Is this before high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, when I tell
that's
people...
like the story before the story.
Yeah, I try to tell people, listen, man, there's not much you can tell me that's going to surprise me, you know, that I probably didn't go through. Well, I didn't have a mother. Well, I didn't have a mother either for 5 years. You know? Well, I didn't have a father. Okay, I knew who my father was. I didn't have him either. You know, well, my father was alcoholic. So was mine. Well, my mom was this. So was mine. You know? Well, I didn't have anybody. Neither did I. You know? And I just think we all adult choices, right? You choose, you know? Sometimes we got a couple of, you know, some people just dealt with 2 choices. Sometimes people dealt with a couple of choices. You got to be able to freaking pick. You know, if you choose to go steal cars, hang out with the wrong people, that was your choice. Now you got to deal with it.
Consequences.
You know? Yeah, the consequences of your choices. Some people don't understand that. So
I feel like as a kid, you have to live those consequences before you can understand it. Like when you were doing that, like, like maybe you could have made a different choice, but I mean, you didn't, like you said, you didn't really understand the consequences involved. You had to live them.
And I'm also a fan that, you know what, sometimes you're going to have to learn by falling on your face. Because I can tell you what not to do, what to do, which choice to go. But I think it'd be better off if you just learn until you fall on your face. And when you fall on your face, then I'll help you up. And I'm not going to be there to tell you, hey, I told you so. I'm like, all right, are you willing to listen now? You know?
Did you have that moment with your brother when he didn't bail you out? When you came to the end of your 14 months, did he come pick you up at CFCF? And did he explain, hey, I did this because?
No, actually, he didn't pick me up. So I got released out of court down on Center City, right?
Yeah.
So they released me right away. I was like, cool, I'm happy. I got no money.
Yeah.
I'm trying to call. I don't have even a quarter to call home. I'm like,
It's crazy. They could give you a couple bucks on the way.
Give you a call at least.
I'm still in jail clothes.
Yeah.
All right?
What?
Yeah.
They'll give
Not
you
in the
your-
orange jumpsuit. I'm in the blue pants, light blue shirt.
Yeah.
And the bus looks down and said, look, man, I just got released. And he was like, get on the bus. Right? But I just got on the bus not knowing where the hell it was going.
You don't know what bus it is.
Man, I think I walked like 2 hours, man. I was happy at first. After a while, I felt like I was in the desert. Like,
That's crazy.
and I get home, man. My brother's wife was like, "You're home?" I was like, "Yeah." I remember she cooked this meal for me, and then my brother, he was happy.
Did she think? Did you were still in the blues? So did she think you like escaped? Or
No, I had to pay. I had
you
the
had your
paperwork, man.
papers? You had papers?
They told me carry that paperwork because the cop's gonna probably freaking stop you.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
You know,
Oh,
so
that's
I was
wild.
like, and it was just a matter of just keep reminding me of that that dream. I'm like, it can happen. It can happen. You know. And
Was there any point in time, like during that, like your adolescence, right, where you let go of the dream,
yeah.
or was it all? Yeah. So when you were,
You know, there's times where, and anybody's like, we end up losing focus, right? And in my case, you know, we lose focus a little bit. I was way back there, like, holy shit, I'm
Hard
in jail.
left.
I'm in jail now.
hard left, yeah.
Yeah, like hard left, 2 rights, downhill, you know, and so
Yeah.
a whole puddle of mud. I'm like, how the hell am I gonna get out of this, you know? And I just tell people, look at me, man. You know, I've really lost track.
Yeah.
And I was able to find it again where most people wouldn't,
Yeah. No.
you know? Thank God I wasn't really big into alcohol, wasn't big into drugs. I was just more into causing trouble, you know?
Yeah.
And been shot at, all types of stuff, just ain't got nothing where I didn't get hit, where I could have got killed, you know? So, but now I focus on just passing on a better message for kids, you know?
Sure.
Or even young adults, it doesn't matter who, you know? Someone that,
Shit, even adults. You know what I mean?
yeah, just this, I could pick up some stuff on how people are now, and I'm like, all right, I need to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I can see it, you know?
Yep.
And
I
just
can
try to,
attest
like,
to that too.
not necessarily you could look at it as motivation, but I look at it as more like as an example, you know. Don't tell me shit is bad. I could tell you when shit's bad.
Yeah.
You know, bad.
Sure.
You know, what you think is bad, okay, it's bad. I can give you a better example of what's really bad, and I still was able to pull out from it.
Sure.
You know, and my brother, same thing. You know, him, he's a cop here in Philly, and I tell people, man, listen, that's not one cop you're never gonna see on TV that be like, oh, this cop got caught stealing money. My brother's like the most honest cop, very fair. He knows like the hood. He knows you can't really trick him. You know, because he's like, dude, I've been there.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
knows.
I know
He knows
what
how it
you're trying to
works.
do.
Yeah.
What's your brother's name?
Sammy.
That comes into Semper Fi and like tells you about all the boxing stuff going on.
Yes, yeah,
I
yep.
didn't realize that was your brother.
Yeah. So, you know, and he's all about the community, you know. I mean, he's got an autistic son, you know, so that's just hard to deal with as a parent, you know. Anybody that has a child with special needs, that just takes a lot out of you. So you're doing that.
Yeah.
Being a cop, that's going to take a toll out of you. You know, you got a family, you got your personal life, you know. Then he's training, he's still helping kids out. Dedicates a lot of his time to the community, a lot, you know. And he's always got me doing it, Hey, come on, man, let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do this. I'm like, all right, sign me up, man. It's just, you know. So now it's like, I'm just grateful for, and I'm not the most religious person, but just grateful for God not giving up on me. You know, all right, man, listen, I get it. You dug yourself real deep in this hole. I'm gonna help you out of that hole. Don't mess this up. You know, not just mess it up, but I need you to give back. Yeah. So any opportunity, I'm like, listen, without hesitation, sign me up. Let's go. What do you need? I'll do it. You know, I don't ask for money. You know, anybody that's ever known me, I don't ask for money. Nothing. Even like my fighters. Nope, I don't want nothing. I just want to see you succeed. Yeah. You know, I'm happy because you're happy.
That's the best gift.
You know, that's what.
And that's so much of a give of your energy and time too. Like the fighters, like you gotta prepare them for their fights and then go to their fights.
People don't know, you know, what it takes coaching wise. You know, you hear coaches say like you have to be, like John Marquez. It was funny. He was saying stuff like, you know, not only do you have to be a coach, mentor, you got to be a father to some of them. The disciplinary person. You got to be a therapist, you know, financial advisor. There's just so much.
That's probably the hardest part.
And the hardest, what we tell these guys is, listen, the best way you can repay us back, just listen. Just listen. That's the best way you can repay any coach back. Just listen. You know, we don't expect you. We know what you're making. And we know it's not enough. We know you got to pay bills. But you also have to understand that I'm taking away time from my daughter, you know, my girlfriend, wife, whatever, you know, my family, my friends, my personal time. Because I could be home right now watching a movie, hanging out with my, you know.
Your business too. Like
same thing, running a business, students, you know. I'm trying to worry about one individual. I got a couple of hundred students that they want my attention too, you know, who are paying me.
Hey, I was going to say, actually paying the bills.
And you're not. And they, the least I ask is that just eat good so we can make weight, right? You know, do your strength and conditioning so we don't look like crap out there in the ring. You know, just listen, just do that. It's not the hardest thing in the world. There's a lot of things that are a lot harder than that. But I tell people, look, it's not that hard. You know.
So I feel like we'll have to do another episode on just the war stories. But like, at what point did in the journey did Jiu-Jitsu come into play when you got out? Like, and how did, like, or MMA? Like,
so
did you do like
once after graduating, like the once I got out and I was doing the night school thing, that's when I started Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, so you were doing Jiu-Jitsu before?
No, before the Marine Corps, yes. Yeah, about three plus years before the Marine Corps. So I was already a blue belt when I joined the Marine Corps.
So how'd you start that?
Yeah.
Through my instructor, which is Johnny Guerrero. And they were doing it, and when we used to hang out, right, he used to practice on me.
Oh, so you guys were buddies?
Yeah. So we go, and he's the one that joined the Marine Corps because I had told him to. You know, he might say no, but, you know. So we were always into fighting. Right? Yeah. He's like, all right, do this on me. We would do it. And he would freaking choke me out, do this. And I'm like, I'm like,
enrolled in the school? Like he was?
No, so I'm old school jiu-jitsu, right? We were learning from
VHS.
VHS tapes.
Bro.
If anybody knows, like Gracie's in action.
Yeah.
Watching those stuff and magazines and stuff.
So he was watching those, was practicing on you, and then that's how you got started.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild, dude.
So him and my buddy Caesar, they were, so Newark has one of the biggest Brazilian populations in the United States. So he would go down and get magazines, jiu-jitsu magazines, because nobody knew what that jiu-jitsu was. You know, you're talking about,
what year is it?
I started in 98. My buddy started in 94.
That's great.
Oh, that's wild.
And look at magazines, see the techniques.
10 people doing jiu-jitsu.
And then we would just practice the techniques, because they would show, all right, this is one, this is two, the sequences. We weren't sure if we were doing it right, you know?
Sure.
And one day they went to a seminar. This seminar had like eight black belts. And it was only like $40. You'll never find that today, you know? And they went and they rolled with some of their white belts, blue belts. and they had a lot of trouble. They was like, yo, who you guys train with? Oh, nobody. What'd you guys learn from?
VHS.
Tapes, magazines, right? And it was like, really? Where you guys from? Jersey. Oh, I'm introduced to one of my guys who has a school in Jersey, David Adiv, okay? David Adiv is one of Hoyler's top black belts, all right? And which is, he has a school in Jersey. What's the, Mickey Gall from UFC? That's his teacher. And yeah, then we connected with David. David Adiv at the time was a purple belt. You know, I mean, when I say go back, so anybody knows David Adiv as a purple belt, you're old too.
Yeah.
Right?
So your buddies paid for a $40 seminar with 8 black belts there. They met David Adiv, and he said, "You guys got to try. You guys got to."
Well, they just introduced, and they was like, "All right, man, yo, join up with me." All right, now we're getting proper instructions.
Got you.
On this, that, whatever.
So your buddies came back from the seminar. You didn't go to the seminar.
Yeah, I didn't.
But they were like, "Oh yeah, we met this guy. We got to go do this."
Yeah. So now I'm training. We would pay like mat fees. His school was a little far from Newark, right? My one buddy, he had a car, so we would drive up there. But now, we were like the hood ones, you know. Everybody else is a little more like, you know, suburban type.
The hood guy comes in there.
But we were hardcore, like you know, we weren't gonna tap, So we would go out Friday nights, right, or even Saturday nights, get drunk, wake up, go train. And David Adiv would see us. He'd be like, because we reek like alcohol. Yeah. Hey, go. You go with him. Go. He would tell his blue belts, purple belts to beat our ass. We get our asses whooped, like whooped. Yeah. And he'd be like, all right, they're probably gonna learn their lesson and not come drunk again next week. We would still come drunk. You know, hungover. You know, not know. He was like,
those are probably the good old days, though.
They were. I wouldn't do that now. I'm too old for that now. But back then, just because I was young.
You got no responsibilities, no problems.
But we did it, and then,
high recovery.
And
I like to see someone try and go into a jiu-jitsu class.
Oh my gosh!
Morning after being hungover.
And then, you know, jiu-jitsu was still out there trying to prove to the world.
So when you're going there and you're paying the mat fee to train, like how many people are there while you're training?
Maybe be like 15, 20 people, you know?
Okay.
And, but nobody really, like I said, nobody really knew what jiu-jitsu was. Jiu-jitsu was still, the Gracies was still trying to prove to the world that jiu-jitsu was the best, right?
So is that who gave you
challenges and stuff?
Is that who gave you your blue belt from like those days of paying your mat?
Hoyler Gracie did.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, even when you saw blue belt was like, seeing a black belt, like, yo, you a blue belt? Like, man, you know, it was just, seeing a purple or brown was like you just saw a ghost, you know, let alone black belt. And I mean, if you were blue belt, it probably took you 5 years to get that thing. Yeah. It took me four some change. And
at that time, was there like a lot of knowledge sharing between upper belts and lower belts? Or no, were you like bullpen with like the white belts?
I'm not gonna show you my secrets. That was like the part I didn't like. You know, I'm trying to get better. You know, teach me how to get out this triangle, man. Stop putting me in this thing. You know? Like, help me get out. You know, at least if I know how. Because if somebody else put me in, I want to. You know. Yeah. So
is there still like, it's still you and your buddies like working on that together? VHS
so
magazines.
We used to work out of we used to train out of the police department's PAL, police athletic. We had crappy mats, man. I mean the Velcro never even stuck that well. We had crappy. We basically do it on hardwood floors. You know. And we were still skeptic on, man, does this really work? You know? So we would actually go to the projects and start fights. Oh my. Yeah. And
test it out.
And I don't want to say no names, but, you know, I would see my instructors at the time, though, you know, fist fight, take a dude down, mount him, you know? Yeah. And the person would turn around and choke him out. And I'm like, oh, man, this really worked, you know? Put a guy in the arm bar, snap his arm, you know? I'm like, all right, this really worked. And one time we got into a fight at a nightclub. Outside, the guy cuts us off. And he's like, you know, it was like, oh, yeah, meet us at the gas station. He's okay.
We're blue belts.
So all my boy, it's 3 of us, 3 of them. And we all knew jiu-jitsu. Everybody got one. I get stuck with this big dude. I'm like, He comes charging. I level changed, double legged him, took him down. Mounted him, did what we normally do. Punched, the guy turned, and I choked him out. And I was like, I'm hooked. I was like, I just beat a guy. At the time, I was like $120. You know, this guy was probably like 210, 215.
Yeah.
Any other day, I should have lost that fight.
And they probably had no idea what happened.
Hell no.
That's the last thing they expected to happen.
Hell no.
What's crazy is I heard that story before in the gym, and it was better the second time. Like, literally, like there are the stories like that made like Semper Fi like great. Like just like everyone would be crowded on Julio, just like listening. But,
yeah, I can understand why.
So you get hooked, and then you take the hiatus to go serve the country.
Yes. So and then I joined the Marine Corps.
So you come back, do you pick up right where you left? Like, or how long were you in the Marine Corps?
So after boot camp, I'm getting stationed to San Diego, right, Camp Pendleton. And as soon as I get there, check into my unit, they were like,
"You're off."
They was like, "Hey, did you unpack yet?" I was like, "Nah, why? Don't." I was like, okay. They lined us up, man. It was put us in a formation. It was like, all right, we need volunteers to Iraq.
Wow.
I was like, you can either volunteer or you're gonna be voluntold. So I'm like, never heard that word before. It don't sound good. So my buddy that me and him went to boot camp together, I was like, what's up, man? You go, I go? He was like, let's do it. Yeah. And everybody that was pretty much there already had just came back. They're exhausted. And they're looking at us like, crazy dudes, y'all don't even know what the hell y'all getting into. Yeah. And volunteered for the first one, second one, and my third one. So when I went my second tour, I volunteered for a third one to stay again. And let me tell you, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I regretted that.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. Honestly, man, and I know a lot of Marines can relate, I actually ate better in Iraq than I did here. I felt I felt important over there. Once I got back, it was just like, just another Marine.
Mission.
Yeah, purpose.
Purpose, you know. And not only that, with the other Marines, you know, especially Marine Corps, we're very tight. That brotherhood is just that bond. And it became even stronger in Iraq.
Yeah, because
so when we got back, you missed all of that, man. Put you in this state of depression. I was like, you know what, send me back, you know? Even though I hated that over there too, but that bond and everything, what we were going through, we went through it together. My third tour, man, I mean, they were all rough, you know, but that third one, I was like, what the hell was I thinking, man? I was like, and I dealt with it, you know, so I did 14 months. Well,
yeah, how long were each of your tours?
So in Marine Corps, we do 7-month rotations.
Okay.
So where the Army, they were doing that, and then they switched over to 14-month rotations. So I did 7, and then 2 back-to-back, so it became 14, you know.
Thinking through it, we were young, and, like, you obviously didn't have your daughter or anything yet. Like, you didn't have not much home here to really miss, right? So, like, that time in Iraq, you kind of felt like it was your purpose. Like, you had so much fulfillment there because you were doing, like, great things that maybe, like, if you had a family back here or something, like, obviously you had your brother.
Don't get me wrong, I miss my mother, my brother, my nieces, things like that, my friends. Wish I could be at the club, you know, all this stuff we used to, you know, talk about. But it's a different feel, man. It's just so hard to really accurately, how should I explain it, you know? It's just a feeling that
well, you had the experience.
No one will really understand or get how we feel unless you're there and really be in that position, you know? Trying to find the right words on what I was feeling and what, even when, like I said, when it was over, you know, once I got out the Marine Corps and I got off of active duty and I come back home, I'm thinking I'm good. I get called back in. Freaking 7:30 in the morning, man. FedEx banging on my door. I'm like, yo, who the hell is that? I'm like, I didn't even know FedEx delivered that early, you know? And eyes are barely, you know, open. They give me a letter, sign here. I'm like, all right. I open that thing and it's a government letter saying that I'm getting deployed again for a 4th tour. And I'm like, how could they do this?
Damn.
You know, I'm like, and I'm at my mom's house. She goes, who was that? I was like, FedEx. And she sees that Marine Corps seal on it. She was like, what is that? I was like, they want me to go back to Iraq. She was like, why? Now she's upset because she's happy that she's got her son back.
She thinks you're done. You think you're done. Like, you think you're.
So when you sign up active duty, you sign up for 4 years, right? Once you're done, there's 4 years inactive. It's like a string. They can pull you back in. Well, again, not even home for 6 months, and they were pulling me back in. Because at the time, we were just so exhausted, rotating after rotation. The only break in between you were given was 6 months. You know, not even 3 months. Yeah. Because as soon as you were selected to go back again, you had to train again for 3 months out of that 6. So you really were just partying.
So even between your first and second tours, you had 3 months, and then you were back in training.
6 months breaks in between, you know? And just mentally and physically exhausting. And not just on you. Think about your family. Mm-hmm. You know, I know a lot of Marines that they were all divorced, you know? Wow. A lot of things happen, losing families, things like that. And, yeah, it takes a toll on both sides, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I get this letter, man. I'm just like, you know, we just opened up Semper Fi. So Semper Fi came up.
We literally had time to like then you went into business. Like you did this hard shit, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go into business. So
you opened Semper Fi after your third tour. You came home.
Yeah. So once I came home, while I was in Iraq, my brother was like, hey man, you know, let's open up a gym, man. So you don't have to keep doing this thing, man. And I'm like, because for him it was like rolling the dice. Eventually I'm gonna crap out. You know, I was hit with an IED and stuff like that. Vehicle blew up, you know, got all my fingers and toes, man. Thank God.
Was he part of that crew that trained jiu-jitsu with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I put my brother down with it. Okay. You know, I even told I was his first teacher. I trained him. Yeah. You know, I trained him hardcore.
I don't think he was a black belt when I was at Semper Fi.
No, my brother's a purple belt.
Okay. Yeah,
he's a purple belt now. Still? But he's old school too. But he's good, man. He knows definitely what he's doing. Trains the police explorers, helps with the police academy, stuff like that.
Was the IED in your third tour?
That would have been my third tour. Yep. Yeah. Oh, second and third.
Yeah, since they were consecutive.
Yeah, it just doing second and third, there was no fighting going on. It was most of the KIAs for soldiers were through IEDs. Majority, you know, it wasn't from fighting, you know. It was. All right,
so you get this letter, and you just opened the gym with your brother. And when you say just open, it's like a month or like a
5 months maybe.
So like you're trying to get people in the door, like you don't like.
Yeah. So
plus at this time, it's not like everybody's beating down the door to do jiu-jitsu.
So
who the hell's
once
doing
I
MMA?
Signed, right?
We're MMA. It was Semper Fi MMA from the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my brother asked me that while I was in Iraq. I called him over there just to say what's up, and he was like, "Yo, what do you think we open up a school?" He's like, "All right." You know, I was like, "I'm down." I was like, "I got the funds. I haven't been spending it." You know, I was like, "Cause when I get home, I'm not doing enough to really spend it." So I was like, "Look, I'll fund it all. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Yeah, just find a good place." He's like, "Yo, I found this good place. Great. It's been closed for months." And he was, "I got a good deal. What do you think?" And I didn't even see pictures. I just took his word for it. He was like, "All right, I need a name so I can do this paperwork." And I'm like, "Hey," I was like, "Sam, let me call you back. You know, let me call you back." He goes, "Dude, I think it takes like 2 weeks for you to call me back." I said, "I'll call you back tomorrow. Don't worry, I will. I'll make sure of it." So I'm talking to my Marines, because they knew I was teaching and training jiu-jitsu out there to other like soldiers, airmen, other Marines. You know, I actually met Tim Kennedy for UFC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a great, funny story with him. He beat my ass over there, but great dude though. And I'm asking my brother, I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to open up a gym. What do y'all think I should call it?" They're like making jokes. Call it Ura Jiu-Jitsu. Call it this. Call it that. You know, call it Kill MMA. I'm like, "Nah, man, I can't do that, man." I'm like, and somebody was like, "Call it Semper Fi MMA." I'm like, "Man, you know what?" That's starting to click. It's sticking in my head. I was like, I told my brother was like, "You sure we can use that?"
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, what are they gonna say? I'm like if I wasn't a Marine, then I could see the issue.
Yeah.
But I'm a Marine. We're gonna use that shit.
Did you call him back the next day?
Yeah, I called him next day. You know.
Did you ever have anything come up with Semper Fi MMA or no?
As far as
the name, like I mean,
legal terms or
yeah,
anything?
did they ever say like?
I've had a bunch of Marines because you know on Levick there's the Navy
base.
Depot, right?
Yeah.
A couple of Marines working there in camis, and now if anybody knows Marines, you can't just walk around in camis. It's forbidden. It's part of our policies. You can't. All right. If you're gonna leave, you go straight home.
Yeah.
All right. Unless you run out of gas, you pump that, you go sit back in your car. You ain't.
Is that just a Marine thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's part of our standards, man. You can't. You can't be in uniform. You know, that's what most Marines they would change. So if you ever see a Marine, you'll know the difference because it's like this, the digital camouflage. They're not supposed to be out there unless they have orders to do something. Gotcha. You know, whether they're working or they're doing something. You know, so I see these two Marines come. One's a staff sergeant, one's a gunnery sergeant. I'm vacuuming. I'm like, oh hey, what's going on, Marines? They were like this. They was like, who's the owner of this? Why does this say Semper Fi MMA? I was like, because I'm a Marine. You're a Marine? Where'd you serve at? Who, you know, and this is what we do, you know. Who were you with? What it is? Find out. Me and him were in the same place in Iraq. Served at the same time, and it was pretty cool, but it wasn't the I've had old timers come in. Who the hell, who's the owner of this place? You a Marine? I'm like, yeah, I'm a Marine. And we talk and stuff like that now, you know. So I got the respect from the city. Anybody that knows.
Well, is the first location, where is that now? Like that's where you've been there?
That's the only location we have. It's the only one I need, man.
Is that where I didn't know if that's where you started too.
No. I've been there 17 years now.
Wow. So it was a much different area 17 years ago. But maybe not as busy or.
Traffic-wise, and that's what helped me a lot. Just people stopping there and stuff like that. A great family neighborhood, so a lot of kids are walking around. You know? That's
What year was it that you opened?
2007.
2007. Was I there?
I would say June. June timeframe. June.
No, because I was.
No, I think I left. So I was at I was in like North Philly, like Castor and Erie, like around there, Hunting Park, and then we moved to Fox Chase. So I lived like right by Semper Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you were next to Rikers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, I'm training and started to get, I have a family of 7. So, and the mom was walking with a double stroller. You know, she was into working out. So she's pushing like 3 girls. Her daughter was my first student who started it all, man. That family, I'm so grateful to them. And then we had, which some people may know, Danielle Kelly. She came through and, you know, I got her started, you know, to where, you know, and she's got a successful career with the whole grappling thing. But then Sean Brady, his little knucklehead, you know, around the neighborhood. And, you know, he might not have made it, but he was a knucklehead, you know, in the neighborhood, fighting, punching dudes. You know, him and his brothers, man, they were tough as hell too. Tough kids.
When they do, Sean Brady's a legend in Semper Fi, obviously. So, like, did you know, with Danielle and Sean, but like, did you know that they had world class potential, or like Sean Brady's known as like the best grappler in the UFC right now?
Well, yeah, for UFC, and then Danielle's one of the top in the world as far as female-wise. Not necessarily with Sean, not right away. Danielle, she just was just a good listener. She was a great student, you know, and just absorbing this. Boom, boom. And, you know, and then, you know, she had some, how should I say, tragic things that happened in her personal life. And, you know, I was there for her, and Jiu-Jitsu was there for her. Because, you know, I was like, look, you can get through this. Get in here, train more. And I know that helped her out a lot, you know, really pushed her. And once she started seeing her potential, it just, you know, it went from there, man. That girl was just like a magnet to everything, absorbing. It didn't matter who was teaching her, you know. Great student overall. And then Sean, he started with Muay Thai first.
Oh, he wasn't even trained Jiu-Jitsu?
It wasn't Jiu-Jitsu first. Him and his brother, Brad, oh man, funny story. They used to fight in my gym.
Like, yeah, I can't imagine.
Like two brothers just not getting along.
Like,
so normally for me, man, you fight I'm kicking you out. I don't want your money. Go somewhere else. Give somebody else another headache. And I would have did that, but I need to pay the bills, man. I'm like, I was telling my boss, like, man, we can't kick him out, man. We could use that money to help pay some bills, you know, because we're still new at it. Yeah. And he's like, I was like, just separate them. Because let me tell you, they would hold pads, and one of them didn't hold pads. Like, it's like this. No, look, they would drop pads and just fist fight each other. And I'm like,
that's wild.
What the hell? Like, what are y'all doing? It's him. No, it's him. Fuck you. You know, it was like, all right, you're going to train with so-so, just don't put them together.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, his brother, Brad, showed, like, I'm like, yo, he's got a lot of potential to freaking kill it.
Yeah.
You know, Sean was like, on the back burner a little bit. I just didn't see it yet. He was still down. He was still hitting pads. He was still about it, you know. He just didn't shine yet. And then one day they just stopped and causing trouble in the streets. And then one day he just came back and was just like, hey man, I want to come back. It was like a couple of months later. I was like, you sure? He was like, yeah. He goes, but this time, I want to do jiu-jitsu. I want to do the whole MMA thing. I was like, all right, well, class is on this day.
Yeah.
And that was it. And started with jiu-jitsu, you know, and the rest is, you know, where he's at now.
Yeah, he was just locked in from that day on.
Yeah, he just was getting better and better. And then he was into just lifting, eating right. Some people think like, you know, oh, he's steroids. The kid's just a natural freak, man. He's just strong, technical. It's funny because me and some of the other black belts were like, oh, you can't do that. You know, that doesn't work. Sean was just, you being side control, my man would just pick your one arm, put you on the, I'm like, you can't do that. You're going to get arm locked. That's not going to work. But he was doing it to like top level black belts. So I'm like, okay, I can't tell him that, you know. And I started to understand, you know what, certain things are just going to work for certain people, you know. So as a teacher, I start to kind of, whoa, that works for him. Why am I going to take that away from him? Yep. Until someone proves him wrong, and not much, you know, nobody really has. So I'm like, let it work for you.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Look at his guillotines, you know? That started with me showing him how to get it from the mount one way. And then guess what? He took that and started, you know, making it work for him. And now he's freaking doing it one hand. I never showed him one hand.
That's what he taught us at the Q1 seminar. He taught us the mounted one.
Yeah, how to put it through. He does it one hand. I showed him like this, but again, he took something and made it work for himself.
Sure.
You know, and that's where, like, all right, you know what, you're a black belt. You're able to see that and make things work for yourself. And, you know, obviously he's a lot more mature, you know, not the little knucklehead kid anymore. Doesn't even like drinking anymore, you know. So I'm really proud of him.
All Sean knows is eat, sleep, train. That's all.
But if everybody knew what Sean was, oh man, he used to come to the gym just like I used to. This was crazy because I saw a little bit of me in him. Yeah. Remember when I tell you guys I used to go, be hungover, a good night of drinking, still train jiu-jitsu. I'll tell you what, he would show up, and me and my other black belt Frank, we would look at him and like, oh, this motherfucker's drunk. He used to be all, man, like, I'm good, you know, go challenge it, go change. I was like, we're going to beat his ass. We're going to beat. Now, it wasn't jiu-jitsu, it was MMA, so I hold him crucifix, punching him, thinking that he's not going to do it again. Just like me, guess what?
Exactly.
He freaking did it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's just
it
so
all worked
funny,
out,
man. I'm just like, and then I had to tell him, like, well, I had to learn, like you're younger than me when I started. You got more potential. You know, at the time my body was beat up from the Marine Corps, just doing stuff even when I was younger, breaking bones and stuff. It starts to add up. And I'm like, you know, you're such in a better spot than I am. You know, and I remember he didn't make weight one time. Ooh. Out of all the times, just one time he didn't make weight. It's because he was out drinking the weekend before.
Yeah.
And I chewed him up the whole way home, man. Let him have it, like a dad would. Dude, this is freaking embarrassing. I said, do you understand that people who brought tickets. It's not just like, hey, here's your money back. No, I had to get a babysitter. Yo, I took off of work. You know, I made arrangements. He doesn't understand that. I'm like, they did. I said, look, you have to decide, what are you going to do? You know, if we're going to fight, then you can't be doing this drinking stuff no more. You can't do that. This is what you're, and I can't say that conversation fixed everything, but it definitely clicked.
Yeah.
You know, because from then on, that's when he started to change, you know.
That was his jail cell moment.
Yeah.
There's consequences,
Thank God, you know, they didn't have to be an actual cell.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, you know, but that's where I'm like, all right, I already got my reward. I saw, you know, I said what I needed to say, and look what happened. Look where you're at now, you know.
Yeah.
And we talk, and he's been there for me, you know. I was going through a whole mental, emotional roller coaster as far as my PTSD, and you know, I was trying not to let all that affect me, you know. And it's different because I could talk about it now, but I know there's a lot of people that just don't, you know. And you would never know, man. There's some people put a smile on their face, not knowing what they're going through, and that's what I was doing, running my classes and trying to be in a relationship that, you know, trying to act, you know, trying to be a father for my daughter, and just going through this every day, man. It was just the hardest thing to get up every day. And I know there's hundreds, thousands of people that are just like that, you know, millions if anything, you know, of our veterans going through the same thing. And I just didn't have no one to talk to, no one that was going to relate, not understand, you know. And then I was seeing, you know, my buddy's wife posting a picture that he just took his life, you know. I'm like, what? He just posted he was chilling. He was good last night. Yeah. That morning, blew his head off, you know. Another one. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it all started, I think, with the medication that the VA was giving out, and I just knew to stay away from that shit. Stay away from that. And the alcohol and, you know, things that were leading, because we're doing it to suppress the pain, you know. And I just had to suppress it on my own, so which made it even harder, you know. And Jiu-Jitsu was helping me, you know, helped take some frustration out. But I just couldn't really understand why I was feeling like this. And I just recently went through a breakup with my fiance after 10 years. And it pushed me to the edge. I was in the darkest place possible, man. Yeah. No, I mean, Sean was trying to help me, talk to me. I went to his house, and, you know, I thank him for that. Yeah. Not just that, other friends, family members, my other best friend, Johnny, who's my instructor, and thank God just for having just friends that just cared just enough to say, call, reach out. Yo, you okay, man?
You okay? Yeah.
Yo, you good? And I don't know what, normally I would say yes.
Yeah.
But that moment I was like, nope, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I am not effing okay. And the thoughts were dark, and then I'm like, you know what, those medications they gave me, it's time to start taking them. And I was taking it, made me freaking worse.
Yeah.
I was like, what the?
Interesting.
And I wasn't the same. When my daughter and everybody else is telling me, like, what the hell, you're not the same person. And it was the medication, man.
Yeah.
It just had me zombified, and I'm just like, I didn't want to teach. I don't think I taught for like almost 2 or 3 months. And thank God.
I was there for that.
Thank God. And you heard my speech, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for my guys, man, my black belts, my white belts, it didn't matter. You, who was able to hear what little I had left in me to just say what I had to say. And it was just like, Sensei, what do you need? We got you. Because I didn't give a shit about my business.
Yeah.
It could have closed. I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't give a shit. My bills, I didn't, listen, take it. I was just not giving care about nothing. Nothing. All I wanted was that pain to go away. And tell you what, I never, ever want to feel like that again. So 3 years ago, I was going through some stuff too, and I did some research on psychedelic therapy. And I was seeing a couple of podcasts of veterans talking about that. And one of the companies, Veteran Solutions, and didn't know much about it, man. I was actually a little scared about it because I'm like, man, is this shit gonna erase my mind? Like, you know?
Sure.
And all the veterans, I'm still in the loop, looking at new findings, researches, medical stuff that they're doing on it. I'm like, man, this shit sounds promising. It sounds life-changing. And I really I didn't know if I wanted to spend that type of money on that. I didn't see the value, if that made sense, you know? To spend this much money for what? To be kind of cool, or if it might work, not might.
Yeah.
And when I went through this breakup, man, that pushed me over the edge, and I called my broker, man, and I told him about it. He was like, dude, I just had because he was a Marine too. My broker's a Marine. And he was like, dude, my brother's boy just went through it, changed his life. He said, bro, I'm so happy for you, man. What do you need? You know, me and him are talking, and I was like, I need $7,000. I said, I want to pay for all of this.
Yep.
Let's just do it. He was like, all right, I'll send it to you right away. And I mean, it was my money. It was some investments. And I called the people up, man. And I wasn't getting no response at first.
Yeah. So
I'm like, man, fuck. And when I wasn't getting a response, man, I kept thinking about taking my life. More and more, I was like, man, fuck this shit. It's probably a sign. Just get it over with. Let's just, you know. And I'm taking my stepson and my daughter to the movies. As soon as we're about to walk into that theater, my phone rings. That's one of the reps. Hey, can I speak to Julio Rosario? I'm like, yeah. Well, this is so-and-so from Veteran Solution. I'm like, yes. It was like, hi, how you feeling? And I told the kids, just go in, I'll be in.
Yeah.
And I just started bawling. I was like, listen, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
I can't. I was just holding it just together just for the kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're taking your kids to the movies. Like, a lot of times when people hear stories like this, that you're in that state, they think that you're, like, balled up in a corner of your house somewhere. It's like, no, you're wearing the mask.
Yeah.
You're, like, out wearing the mask.
And let me tell you
keeping the smile.
that I was going to do it that night. I was just going to spend that time with them.
Yeah.
And I was done. I was just mentally, I was just...
Well, here's another sign that call coming in. You thought it was a sign that you were done. But here the call came through, and it's another sign that you're just, getting started.
And I just told her I was messed up.
Yeah.
And she talked me through it, and she said, we're going to give you the help you need. And I was like, if you tell me to leave right now, I'll jump on a plane right now. She was like, let me see what dates we have. It was just 3 weeks.
It was 3 weeks out.
Longest fucking 3 weeks of my life. Longest. I thought being in Iraq was like long, waiting 7 months. And they had people coaches calling me every week, every other day.
Leading up to that. Yeah, okay.
Preparing me for this thing. And it was just like my last straw, like something's got to work.
Yeah.
Obviously the VA therapy, none of that stuff was working. It was more just like putting Band-Aids on something.
Yep.
You know, I was still bleeding out. It wasn't healing the wounds.
Yeah. And
telling my friends, my closest family, I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm like, I don't care. I'll spend all my money. So I decided, I said, man, if I'm going to do this, I'm going first class. First time I flew first class.
That's a different experience, by the way. I got on a business trip. I got a last-minute upgrade for my sister and I for $100. And they treat you like royalty.
What? Oh, man, listen.
I'm like, this is crazy.
I was like, damn, I've been missing out, man.
Exactly.
What the I was like, oh, heck.
First class is
I'm like, I paid a little extra $40-$50 to get
the leg room,
extra 4 inches of leg room, but...
So after that experience, I'm like, I'm never not flying first class again.
Right? That's what I said. I said, fuck, I'm going to save the extra money. I don't care. I'm going first class.
Next flight, $1 bajillion. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not flying first class.
So I'm sitting in first class. There's a lady sitting to me with a service dog, and I swear this dog knew what the hell was happening. He was looking at me like, bro, you okay?
They know.
You know? And he just kept
They definitely know.
rubbing up on my leg to almost sense like something was wrong. And I'm just looking out the window. And I knew things were wrong because I could just be like this, fine. And I'm talking this months ago, but I would just be crying. And I'm like, I wouldn't know I was crying until it was coming down my tears. Like, why?
Yeah.
Because I had no control of mine, and I knew I was losing it. And I'm in that plane. It's happening. I'm looking out the window. I'm at the window seat, like, don't want this lady to see what's happening. And she didn't. I don't think she saw it, but the dog was. I would look, and he was looking at me like, "Oh, you need a hug or something?" I'm like,
I mean, I feel like a service dog would probably know even more than a normal dog.
I talked to my daughter, my mom, and I was like, "Look, I got to do this. It's gonna change my life and stuff like that." And I just put all my belief into it, man. And when I got there, the company's name is Ambio, and they picked me up from the airport. So psychedelic therapy, there was 2 psychedelics. One is called ibogaine, one of the strongest psychedelics on this earth. And then the other one was called DMT.
Yeah.
And the first psychedelic comes from like a root extract out in Africa, and then DMT comes from a tree frog.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was hearing people saying licking the frog. I'm like, crazy as hell. Like, and man, they took me, man, picked me up from the airport, drove me straight through Mexico because it's illegal to do ibogaine here in the United States. Okay. So they're still trying to work it to pass it. And yeah, we get to Mexico, man. Beautiful house on the beach. So my family was scared for me. They was like, "You're going where?"
Yeah, because you're by yourself.
To do what?
Yeah. Well, I was with 6 other. I was a 6th person.
Okay, I got you.
So they do like 6 at a time.
I got you.
But let me tell you, it was worth every penny.
Were they Marines?
No, 2 of them was Army, and then the rest were just regular guys, just like you, just going through, who had a really traumatic life, I guess, growing up.
Yeah.
And but you could have told me this thing was $20,000. I'll tell you to this day, it was worth every penny.
You're saying you would have paid.
You would have paid.
Like, listen, I would have paid 50.
Yeah.
Like, it was worth every penny.
How long?
And
was
you know what was crazy? These people are so passionate about helping veterans or anybody that's going through something that I wasn't even charged yet. They picked me up from the airport. They didn't ask me, "Hey, I'm not gonna pick you up. Did you pay for this already?"
Yeah.
I'm on day 2 going through this stuff, and they didn't ask me anything about paying or nothing. I mean, I was gonna pay.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit. I realized, and I went on the thing, and I paid for everything.
Yeah.
But I was like, they weren't even asking. They weren't even asking. I was like, I felt like another company would have been like, before we pick you up, you got to pay for this.
Yeah, paid in full. Yeah.
So I knew those people were great people, man.
Yeah.
To their staff, their nursing, the doctors. And like I said, you're in a mansion house type setting. Beach is there. There's a pool. Nobody used it. We had our own chef.
Yeah.
I mean.
So what was would you do the drugs during the day and so it's like a whole experience? Or?
So first day it's more like introductory to try and find out who you are. That's what we're doing, stuff like that.
As a group or individually?
As a group.
As a group.
Okay.
Yeah. And they was just like, "Look, man, you've done enough for people, helping people out. Let us help you. Do not do anything." We had laundry service, everything. Like you just got out of bed, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it just felt it was like focus. It's all about you.
Yeah.
And more of that holistic type of stuff. And we did.
Speaking my language, dude.
Huh?
I love
So we did what's called
medicine,
a temescal, which is like looks like an igloo. You're in the hottest. You think Russian bathhouses are hot? This ain't got nothing, bro. Nothing. This thing was so. I felt like I was seeing stuff in there, man. It was freaking. Again, it's all holistic type stuff, but everything from that, breath work, yoga, meditation.
Wow.
We did all of that leading up before we did the ibogaine. So ibogaine was first. Next day you rest, and then because we were there for 5 days. So ibogaine was on day 3. You rest, and then we do day 5. You do the DMT. But I'm not depressed anymore. I have no anxiety, and it's not to say that my past traumas are gone, they just don't bother me anymore, if that makes sense. You know, like I could think about it, I could talk about it. I just don't.
Doesn't have a hold on you.
Yeah, you know, it just doesn't. And let me tell you, I see everybody different. If I know, I could just pick up. You're going through something. I don't know. It's just it's just crazy. The visions I had, everything. Changed my life, man. Or saved my life is what I should say. And now I'm, I've already got a couple other Marines and this female airman. I got her to do it. And she's always hitting me up like, dude, you saved my life. I'm like, not me. I'm like, the psychedelic therapy saved your life. Yeah. I just pointed you to the right direction. I'm telling you what it did for me. And it's the same thing what I tell for any veteran, man. Look into it. The company's called MBO Sciences. You can look up Veteran Solutions. It works, man. And these people are trying very hard to get it legalized here in the United States.
Crazy you got alcohol and drugs, or alcohol and weed like legal in the U.S., but you can't get it.
And not only does it just help people with traumatic or PTSD type stuff, it helps people with addiction. Actually, the ibogaine was first used for addiction. And originally, that's what it was for. So someone that's hooked on heroin, fentanyl, any of this stuff, you do the ibogaine, it'll clean you out. You won't crave it anymore. It will. So anybody that has like a daughter or a son, man, you're watching this and you want to save your son, you want your kid back, look into that.
Yeah.
I will bet all my money you will save your kid. You will get your kid back.
Yeah.
What was the experience like when you came home? Like, were you after the therapy, after the trip, when you got back, were you?
So I was supposed to hang out with some kids, with some friends in San Diego, some other Marines that I served with, and I did, and I was excited, man, to get home, man, just tell my story, tell my visions.
Yeah.
Because when you do the psychedelics, there's visions, and yeah, man, I saw my inner child. I saw myself hugging it.
Sounds like my kind of trip, dude. Some yoga, meditation, breath work, and some plant medicine.
But the DMT, I was only out for 7 minutes, so my experience was 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
Now, ibogaine, it was like 16 hours, man.
What?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah. Most of it, you're floating in space, bro. Black space. Then you'll have some visions. It's just a couple of points you're like, all right, man, I'm done. I just want to get out of this. But you can't, man. You're like blindfolded. You take that off, man, you get these weird visions, man. You're like this. Your eyes are doing this, like everything's moving, man. It's just.
You laid there for 16 hours?
Yeah, it was about a good 12 to 16 hours for most guys. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you're monitored. They got.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
When I say these people are pros, listen, they got doctor on site. They got nurses. They're constantly checking on you, making sure that nothing's bad gonna. Again, is what I thought too. In the beginning, man. What if I freak out? Like I never done anything. I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna do some of the hardest stuff in the world. You're telling me ibogaine, one of the strongest psychedelics in this world on earth. And I'm gonna do that. I'm like, man, is there like a little steps I can take?
Yeah.
I'm going right into it. So I was like, yo, I hope I don't freak out. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, but they prepare you, man. They prepare you for a lot of stuff. So, whether you're into drugs or not, it doesn't matter, man. They're there to help you.
Did you bring any of the yoga, meditation, breath work, so on and stuff back with you? Like, do you do any of that now?
Yeah, some stuff in the mornings just to help you get started and stuff like that. Like a whole mindset kind of thing. Just, because I'm a big believer too. It's like what you're putting out to the world's going to give it right back. You're putting out this negativity, these thoughts.
Of course.
Listen, that's what you're going to live then.
It's kind of like the manifesting you did when you sat down and you said, this is the vision I see and I'm going to make it happen.
Yep.
The same type of thing.
Some people are not into, listen, man, I'll go walk my dog out in this field and I'll start just let my dog run. I almost forget about where the hell is he at, and I'm just manifesting, walking out there. This is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to do. Yep. Things are going to get better for me. You know what? I forgive this person, I can't hold that thought. You know, I used to hear people say, you know what, the forgiveness is not for them, it's for you.
Yeah.
You know, you would ask me that months ago, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, and now I understand it. You know, what happened to me in my relationships past, you know, regardless what was done to me, you know what, I'm going to forgive myself, you know, for dealing with certain things, allowing certain things. It's okay. You know what? We can't hold it anymore. We're gonna move on. For me to move forward, I had to do that.
Yeah, you gotta release it.
So, and like I said, you know, I had made a post on Facebook. Look, man, if I ever, you know, wronged you in any way or said something, I did my best to try to just apologize to those people. You know, my bad, because that wasn't me. You know, wasn't me. You know, even though. How should I say, I was still all about helping you guys do all that stuff, you know, but deep down inside, man, it was just, you know, I don't want to use the word demon, you know, just definitely wasn't the person I really am. But now, and it's only been since September, right? Yeah, since September, so. And the ibogaine could stay in your system for almost 6 months to a year or something like that.
Really?
You know, so it's still doing its thing, you know. And I'm grateful for it, man. Best decision I ever made in my life. It saved me, and now I'm just trying to just see who else I can save. You know, who really needs it. You know, there's some people I talk to. I'm like, all right, they're not at that point. They don't need to waste that money. You know, you just need a little therapy. You just need someone to talk to. You just need to learn not to hold that in.
Sure.
And just start, you know, talking. Or you need some jiu-jitsu too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, kind of to channel it out, let it out. You'd be surprised too. That helped me too. That helped me hang on too. Jiu-jitsu helped me out a lot.
Do you think that you held on to so much for so long internally that's what brought you to that specific therapy, and that's what you needed at the moment? Do you think that, like, it was the period of time that you were holding on to the things that you had been through that you didn't maybe talk about, or?
Yeah, I feel like when I found out about the psychedelic therapy 3 years ago, I just don't think it wasn't my time yet.
Yeah, it wasn't time.
To go push for it, you know. I was still, I felt like my body was saying, hey, we can hold it a little more. We got more room to keep holding this in, you know.
You almost hadn't suffered enough.
So then it was just, like I said, just recently over the summer, man, that was my mind, my body telling me, like, we're done.
Yeah,
we are done. This is as much as you can fit in the bag. That's it. We're ready to pop. Like, it's just, and I know that feeling when other Marines, sailors, any other veteran that's going through that. Like, that's it. This is much as, and it's painful. And that's where they think about the dark thoughts. You know what? I'd rather just take my life. It's just, you know, I also understand there's two differences on, you know, being physically tired and mentally tired.
Yeah.
Dude, mentally tired? I mean, anxiety. I hear people with anxiety. I'm like, I kind of knew what that was. I didn't know what it really was until, the best way I can explain it is take pre-workout before you go to bed. Dude, I can't freaking sleep.
Yeah.
As soon as you start thinking about it, I'm like, amped up. And now you're so amped up, you don't even have an appetite to eat.
Yeah.
I had lost, I think, over the summer, I think I lost like 18 pounds. I'm not the biggest dude. Yeah. So you take 18 pounds, it's like, you know, I had my bags. I was like sucked in. And
but it's crazy going through all this. You still have plenty of energy to beat a lot of asses. Like, a lot of ass whoopings from Julio.
After all of this, I was losing my passion about teaching, running the school, coaching, which is kind of like where, you know, I'm guiding Sean to go somewhere else. Yo, go with these guys. Look, they'll take care of you. I'm going to put you in good hands. I'm not just going to throw you out there, you know, where other guys that needed my coaching, needed me. I just didn't have it no more. And it wasn't that I didn't have it. I just...
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, man. And, you know, it's just a shame some people didn't see it like that and became a little selfish. I'm not mad at them. I get it, you know. So I'm very more understanding now. And, yeah, my cup ain't empty no more, man. And now I'm rolling with my guys. I'm fucking loving this shit. Yeah. I'm like, I get like Lee and them, you know, Liam, and they're like, all right, let's go. You know, they throw the old man thing. Liam's always like, dude, you're fucking strong for your fucking age. Like for an old man, I'm like, I'm not old.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, let's back up on this whole man shit.
You know, so it's good to see that I can still hang in with the young boys. You know, and they're doing all this fancy shit. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, do all that shit. I'm just gonna do my old school stuff, and you know, I feel good. I'm not like, listen, I'm sore and all that, bones hurt, joints hurt, but not like before, man. You know, which kind of like just pushed me away. I'm like, man.
Well, like you said, there's a difference between the physically tired and the mentally tired. You know what I mean?
I think the mental effect definitely had
has effects on the physical too. Like,
yeah, of course.
Probably manifests in your body, like what's going on in your brain too.
Yeah.
But man, now I'm back to coaching, back to training guys. We just had a tournament on Saturday, and just proud of my kids, man. Just seeing them, like, now I love it. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm back to how when I first opened the place. You know, I had that passion of doing all of this stuff. I'm like, man, I'm single too, so I ain't like got to worry about going home to someone. You know, because she's like, you still at the gym? Still doing this? Oh, I thought we was going to do this weekend. You're going to coach? I'm like, you know, so I'm like, screw that. I'm you know what? My students want my time. I'm going to give it to them.
And I think the right partner will understand that too. You know what I mean? Like, she'll make it maybe a point to be a part of.
I think that when it comes to that, you know. Now, I'm not even worried about that stuff, man. Come spring, though. Come spring and summer, I'm putting myself out there, though.
Yeah, okay, all right now.
We got fresh pictures to add to the Tinder profile, dude.
Oh, yeah, photos,
Levy.
That's going to be my Tinder profile.
We'll give you cred, Levy.
You had a lot of belts coming home from that Naga tournament, or a lot of winners?
Yeah, listen, a lot of them, there were a lot of kids that were dealing with anxiety. So what frustrates me is that this generation is far different from mine, man. Far different. I think even people in my generation have to understand that we didn't have that technology, you know? We didn't have the better clothes, shoes, all this other stuff. We obviously, foods were better for us then, not this junky stuff, you know, that's killing our kids, killing us, right? We didn't have the therapy, you know, to help, you know, we just dealt with it. And
suck it up.
And we expect that from our kids today. Suck it the fuck up. Deal with it. It's different, man. It's so different. You know, you look at the TV shows, they meant something. If you look at, what was that show, The Cosbys? Bill Cosby was a dad to a lot of us who didn't have one, because we was like, yo, that's a dad? Look what he's doing for his kids. Look how he's being there. I loved him for that. You know, that was like a vision that I saw. Look at shows now, man. I don't freaking understand it. Look at the music.
The dads of freaking dinky, out of shape, overweight.
Idiot. And he's an idiot.
Yo, you look at Full House. You know, their dad. You know, I was like, all right, like, even if you were suburban, like, oh, man, I'm from the hood, but I want a white dad like that. You know? And it's just...
You don't see that on TV nowadays.
No, man. Like, the messages are just different.
Yeah, messages are different.
And I just feel like they know it, man. They're taking advantage of screwing our kids over.
Listen, things don't happen by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, things don't happen by accident. I agree with you.
You got social media. That's screwing, you know. You're sending a vision. That's not even true, man. You don't live like that. So many people right now, you know. You don't know what they're going through behind those scenes. You think, oh, man, they're living their life. Not knowing they're struggling, and they're doing that. So, because it's like two lives, you know. The more likes, it makes them feel good, you know. And that people don't understand. That's a trigger, you know. That's a trigger from your traumas, you know. Because what happens? I know a girl. She posted a picture. She didn't get over 500 likes. She took that shit off. It made her feel like shit. But it was, you know. And this is stuff that I know now.
And that's where anxiety is starting too, because you're seeing people are on social media all day, every day, seeing highlight reels of people's best moments of their lives, and subconsciously it's creeping into their mind that my life's not this great, but I see all of these people's lives are that great, so that's triggering anxiety, depression, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people don't, like I was telling some of my students this past weekend, nobody tells you that. Like when you look at someone that's a champion, whether they're MMA, any type of sports, basketball, they don't tell you. Like you look at Jordan. Mm-hmm. Not telling you the hard work that, you know, we if you see a documentary, you kind of understand.
Yeah.
But they're not telling you. Just see, oh, I want to be like Jordan. Do you want to? It's not be. Do you want to go through what Jordan went through?
Yeah.
You know, in order to become Jordan.
For sure.
People don't get that. They don't understand.
The
that.
middle's missing. The middle's
Comes
missing.
along with being Jordan. Do you want you don't know what his quality of life is. You know what I mean? He's sacrificing everything for the dream. Like, even when he's made it and he is Jordan, like, do you want to live Jordan's life on a daily basis? Mm-hmm. Like,
no privacy. Can't go nowhere. Can't do it. You know what I mean?
Or
but practicing
time away from kids.
When your buddies are out there partying, you're at the court by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, working on your J or backyard, or you'll see a kid shovel half a court on his own just so he can practice. Yeah. I've seen that in Hunter Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's a kid who could be out there selling drugs, doing something. He's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, hard work beats talent. When talent fails to work hard. Yeah. You know, I push that on my students all the time. Work hard, push yourself.
Your students are fortunate to have you, especially the young ones, speaking all this wisdom and experience into them.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's all from trial and error, man. I'll tell you that. I was like, listen, I can save you the heartache. I can save you a lot of trouble. I can save you some money.
Yeah.
Just listen to me. And I said, not that I've been through it all, but I've been through some shit. You know, there's not a lot you can't tell me that I haven't been through. You know, whether you can talk about racism, you can talk about finances, breaking up with a girl, military, you know, depression, anxiety. I'm like having those dark thoughts, thinking about suicide. You know, if anybody's out there, like, go on my social media, you know, shoot me a message. I'm definitely open about talking to a person and try to direct them. I don't have to know you. You know, I'll listen to your story.
Sure.
You know, and then let's get you the help that you need. Mm-hmm. But it's got to start with you just, you know, opening up. Just say something. We're not asking you to tell us your whole life. Talk 3 hours, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Talk us 2 minutes. Let's see where you're at.
Being open and honest always wins.
Yeah.
So, and then that's what I learned now, man. Not to hold that stuff in, man. That's like the worst. That's what's killing.
It's poison.
The whole,
Well, that being said, can you let the community know where to find you and Semper Fi MMA on Instagram?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it'll be Semper Fi MMA. My personal one is, my name is Julio, but I make jokes because when I was younger, teachers called me Julio, you know? So it's Julio77, and that's with it's JULIEOO77. You can find me that. Like I said, DM me, man, and just send me a message, and let's just, like I said, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, I think that could definitely not just change your life, but save your life.
Absolutely,
you know, if you're interested in psychedelics and they want to know a little more about that, you know, we can do that. You know, I tell people, man, look, sometimes just fundraise. Yeah. You know, you don't got to spend $7,000 like I did. I just did it because I went first class. You know? But the whole thing in total for the 5 days, I say you're responsible for your flight, your there and back. So they don't do that, but they'll pick you up, drop you off. Sure. You know, you got a place to stay, food, everything, medical services. They take care of all that. It was, if you are a veteran, they do discount it. Mm-hmm. I believe it was 62. I want to say about 6,200. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're not a veteran or something like that, it's like 60s. I think it's extra $500 on top of it.
Gotcha.
So they deduct $5.
Gotcha.
You know, on top of that. But they'll work with you. If you're like, look, man, I really need this. Yeah. Listen, they're not going to tell nobody. They'll deduct $500, and it is what it is. Yep. There are some other solutions where you could break down the payments.
Yeah.
You know, they have some. I think another company you go to, that they'll pay for it, and then you just pay over time.
Gotcha.
So, there's a solution. You know, it can be done. So I don't want to hear somebody, I ain't got the money.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, you got to get out there. You got to work. You can Uber. You know, don't tell me you can't work. You can Uber.
Yeah.
You don't like being standing up all day at a warehouse, then
There's
Uber. You know,
there's always
there's
a
definitely
solution.
a solution to anybody's problem. So,
Yeah, man.
Well, we got a lightning round of 3 questions before I let you go. All right. The most rewarding part of teaching Jiu-Jitsu and MMA?
seeing a kid that didn't believe in himself, who didn't play sports, wasn't athletic, never did anything physical in their life, right? Even the parents thought they were like a little, I hate to say this word, but a little pussy, you know?
Yeah.
They just wanted to try to toughen up their kid, and you're seeing this person beating grown men, you know, choking people out and loving the damn thing. I'm like, that's better than any gold medal for me, you know?
It's always
Yeah.
the nerdy guys that get you. And
And that's the ones I'm talking about, too.
yeah, they're the killers,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, they are. The silent killers, too, like that.
What is a quote you live by?
I mentioned it before, man. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Yeah.
So, any day.
And if there's someone that was just getting started in their jiu-jitsu journey or thinking about quitting their jiu-jitsu journey, what is one piece of advice you'd have for them?
Some days you're going to be the nail. Some days you're going to be the hammer. All right? You have to be realistic with yourself. You can't be the hammer every single day. Being the nail is just an opportunity for you to learn. You know, you got to learn from that. Why was I the nail? Work on that so you can be the hammer the next day, right? There are definitely brighter days, you know. Just, it's almost like a storm, man. You just got to weather it, right?
Yeah.
I tell some people, too, when they be people that are depressed, can't rain forever. It can't rain forever.
True.
Yeah, man.
The sun's
true.
got to come out. You know?
That's true.
And if you just stick with it, you'll have those sunny days, man. You're going to start seeing your progress.
Yeah.
But also, too, you get what you put into it. You only put in 10% of work, you're going to get 11% back maybe, 10% back. Of course, anybody would quit. Go ahead, put 80% of work in. You get 80 back, you're like, whoa, I can work with this.
Yeah.
Oh, I can. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes you just got to be realistic with yourself. What are you doing? You know, how much work are you putting in? You're training one day a week. What did you expect? You know? It's
Yeah.
not- you know, so.
The next question was gonna be like, do you have the next coming of Sean Brady coming? I know you got the young Brady.
You know what's crazy?
He's got the young Brady over there.
Yeah,
He's
he
freaking
does.
built. He's already started at a young age, right?
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's hard for one school to have one star, right? Whether they're a jiu-jitsu star or MMA star, boxing, it doesn't matter, right? I don't know what it is. I've been fortunate to have, you know, top female grappler,
Yeah.
top welterweight in the UFC in the world. I got some up-and-coming ones, you know, that have.
And I'm not saying like it's the teaching, but you got to just connect
Yeah,
the dots.
look.
You know,
You know
you
what
can't
I mean?
really.
Connect the dots.
I'm not even a fan of, if anybody knows me, I don't even go like pushing like, yo, I did that for Sean. Oh, I did that for Danielle. I did that. I don't do. I'm happy for them. You know, I'll praise myself more inside.
Yeah.
I'm not big
But
to
the
go on
fact
social
is that-
media and be like, yo, I did that. He's there because of me. Oh, I know I didn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
You know, he needed training partners. Danielle needed training partners. You know, they needed someone to pat them on the back, talk to stuff like that. It wasn't just me because there were other teachers. You know,
For
other
sure.
people came into their lives too. So it's not just by myself, but yeah, I got some stuff that some people that have the potential, you know,
Yeah.
and then they see them. Eventually, I'm gonna retire, man. This will be Sean's job, you know.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna give you this
But
kid.
having Sean and Danielle out there, it's like it is like makes it realistic, like attainable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, I can actually do
But
this.
I just want one day to just be able to be like, you know what? Listen, it's almost like I put the filling, I made the pie, I put it. All you gotta do is just put this in the oven, man.
Yeah.
Put it in the oven for 45
Here's
minutes.
the recipe.
Good.
Let it cook.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm cooking some guys that when I'm ready to hang this up, if Sean decides that he wants to teach, open up his own gym, go to him, go there, Or John. I got guys that go to John, Marquez. Like, let them do it. And guess what? When these guys are winning, don't thank me. Yeah. Thank John. Thank those other guys that were beating your ass, that were pushing you every day. So I'm not that coach that wants to take 100% of credit, Yeah. I'm like, look, I just happen to have the place and you just walk to my door,
Yeah.
So,
And taught some good jiu-jitsu along the way.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, anybody have anything else before we
I'm
close
good.
it out?
I really enjoyed this, man. Thank you for coming through.
appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you.
All right, Eagles. Remember, I'll leave you with a reminder. Always choose effort over entitlement. Always choose hard work over handouts. And remember, no one owes you. No one owes you. Let's hunt, baby.
hey, go Birds.